Hello twin flames, welcome to my channel and welcome to your daily energy check. Today we're gonna dedicate this reading to the supermoon in Virgo that we're gonna be experiencing on March 14th. It could be 13th for some of you, alongside Australia and Oceania. So check your time zone, check it online on when the peak of that supermoon is for you. It is coincidentally this time around a full lunar eclipse, but as I mentioned earlier this week, I wanted to break down all the big events that happening pretty much at the same time and dedicate separate readings to separate topics. And what I advise you to do is see for yourself how each of these aspects are gonna, each of these events actually is gonna influence you specifically based on your natal chart. I will actually do an episode of my show Mindfully Awake on this Friday, day after tomorrow, because I want you to understand better what does it mean when we're talking about full moon in Virgo. How does it impact you directly? Because these readings is still collective readings, and especially if you're getting a lot of pieces of information, or maybe you're watching several readings, right? It can get overwhelming. So it's important to understand how it influences you. And maybe there is a particular area of life that you're focusing on right now, right? And you can see which of these events is gonna impact it more, and you can work with that energy. Because remember, the biggest value that we get out of this astrological knowledge and astronomical knowledge is that because these transits are happening, we can actually see how we best can collaborate with the universe in that way. So that, you know, it's almost like when you're surfing and you're like, you have the wave and the wind working for you, right? And together it's amazing, right? Whereas if, the wind is in a different direction or whatever, just a very strong wind and it's messing up your flow, right? It can work against you, right? So similarly, when we as humans take certain action without even knowing it, we may be working either contrary to what the current transits, current energies are for us, because we are still very unique in our setup, in our natal chart, right? So it will impact each of us a little bit different. I apologize for the noise. Hopefully it will disappear soon. Somebody is cleaning in the area. What was I saying? Yeah, so it will be either working with you and it will be more favorable time to impact specific area of your life, or the other way around. Maybe it just doesn't make sense to put too much energy in that area because it's just not a favorable time. Like, for example, let's take just a general example again. We talked about Mercury retrograde yesterday, and yesterday's reading, go there if there's something that you're worried about or you'd like to know more about within the context of twin flames, right? And maybe you do want to build something great in terms of communication, whether it's with your twin, a friend, a family member, anyone, right? And you know that you need to have some tough conversations with them because some changes are needed, whatever that is, right? And then during Mercury retrograde, understand that it's going to be, all these conversations are going to be a lot more complex. So they will seem heavier. The person may not understand where you're coming from or what kind of intention you have, right? It doesn't mean don't have them. I mean, if you feel strongly like this is the time, this is the thing to do, definitely go for it. But be extra vigilant, right? Because it will be like swimming against the stream, going upstream. That's it. That's what it is. So I will teach you about that in that episode of Mindfully Awake. The rules, what to look out for, and there's so many apps, so much software online for your phone these days where you can get your natal chart for free, maybe without like all the nitty-gritty details, but if you're getting started, you don't need them anyway, right? But it will give you enough information to understand how to work among the planets, the signs, the houses, and most importantly, how to utilize this specific transits we're talking about. So today we're talking about, to the reading now, enough. and we actually have less noise, so that's good news too. I will start with an oracle message, and guess which deck I picked. I picked Moonology for this one. So today we're unpacking super moon in Virgo. Quick reminder that full moons are time of release, time of change, time of leaving behind things that don't work for us anymore. And when we go into Libra, Virgo energy, Virgo is all about details. It's about practicing what you preach. It's about schedule. It's about routine. It's about your habits, right? We drill down to details, right? Like big plans is all great. You are a light worker. You want to be with your twin. You want to start a family or maybe expand your family. You want to, I don't know, run a marathon. Those are like the big ambitious goals, right? On that big level. Then we go to Virgo, and Virgo is like, okay, this is all good, but let's look at yourself and your lifestyle. How does it align with your big goals, right? Or maybe you're spending too much time binge watching your favorite shows, and then you're wondering, why am I not moving along with my mission, right? It's this kind of, especially stuff that's not working for you, because the full moon allows you to cleanse that, to leave that behind, to release. I'm not saying it's easy, but you can do rituals during this time, and Virgo is an earth sign, earth element, so work with the earth. You can put things on a piece of paper that you want to leave behind, bury them. You can definitely do, if the weather permits, you can do like walking barefoot on the grass, tree hugging, like all those kind of things, working with plants even at home. Especially when you set intention for leaving something unhealthy behind. Like you can be creative with that process for sure. Yeah, so think about your lifestyle and how you spend your time, right? Is that efficient? And also, is it something you want to spend your time with? Or you keep telling yourself a story that, you have all these obligations, and, there's just that certain list on a daily basis that you can't give up, that you can't just say no to, right? And as soon as you start saying phrases like, I have no choice, or I just have to deal with it, just have to swallow my pride or whatever, like that's a red flag for you to look into in more detail and see maybe you can transition from that space gradually. Or maybe if you're doing it just to people please, right? Or it feels like, you're like, oh, that person cannot help themselves, I need to help them. Like, this is where there's wiggle room, and you can see how you can work on that. But at least you can set the intention during this time on, how do I want to change my lifestyle? How do I want to change how I'm spending my days? So, feminines, your message from Moonology is confidence is your key to success. Yes, so, and it has a Leo energy here, and it also has yellow color, so solar plexus chakra is your best friend during this time. I just started talking about releasing something unhealthy and how it may be difficult to do that, because either you became too familiar with that routine or with that lifestyle, or you're always finding a good reason to keep doing it, but deep down you know that it's not healthy for you, right? So look into bringing in more confidence, maybe actually doing some work with your solar plexus and seeing how you can, if you're finding reasons to stay in some kind of unhealthy scenarios, then you might just as well find reasons to leave those scenarios, It's all about, and I'm sure something's telling me that the reasons to leave it behind are going to outweigh what you're getting with it. Also pay attention to your physical health, and whichever scenario you're considering, see how it impacts your health in a positive or negative way, because that's another side of Virgo energy. If you remember in tarot, Hermit represents Virgo energy, and it is a healer energy, right? But it is about physical healing. So also think about health and wellness when you're considering specific items, or should I be spending this much time on this or not, things like that. Masculines, your message is your dreams need a practical plan. Yes, that's what Virgo is about. Show me the money, baby. You've got all those dreams. Now, what's your plan? What are you doing about that today? How are you getting closer to your dream? By taking small actions every day, by aligning your identity with the identity of a person you want to be, that life you want to live. Okay, let's move on with tarot. I've got the Telema deck today. And the last question we'll ask, so this will be, so we will see what do we have a chance to leave behind, what are we freeing space for with this super moon, and the last question is going to be messages from the twins, like, you know, between the twins. What do they have to say to each other during this time? And of course, if you enjoy what I'm doing, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. This really helps me to keep going with this free readings. I've got so many projects these days that I want to pursue and that I need to spend time on. So the more you guys support me with this, the more frequently I'm gonna be here with the readings, with the guidance, free of charge for you. And of course, you are always welcome to order a personal reading through my website or by reaching out to me via an email address. And there's more info on that in the description box. Queen of Swords, bottom of the deck. Yeah, so just like this decisiveness. You know, sometimes Queen of Swords has no problem cutting people off, cutting things off her life. Like, I don't need this BS. You know, it's like, it's over, baby. I've had enough patience with you. You haven't made the changes that we discussed, or, you know, it's not improving, or it's just hushing my buzz, whatever. Like, I'm done being brave to go that way, even if it's gonna upset the other person involved. I mean, if they're used to your energy being around, then definitely will be upset. Six of Swords. Yes, we want to find peace. We're going to change our baseline of our reality to something not necessarily, like, I don't like to say positive or negative because it's all very subjective, as you know, but something peaceful, something that sets you up for success, and not something where you need to struggle every day and go through a bunch of obstacles just to get through your day and through what you need to do on a daily basis. You feel the difference, right? So feminines, what are you leaving behind? We see the Hierophant clarified by Nine of Swords. Yeah, so this is like having doubt of like whether I should leave things behind because it's something that other people like in me, or, you know, other people won't understand if I leave this now, right? Maybe leaving your job and it's like you're making good money and you're thinking, oh my God, like my parents or my partner are never gonna understand why I would leave such a good job, but I'm like struggling every day, and there is this inner conflict. Nine of Swords represents inner conflict, where it's like you're deciding first of all between your head space and your heart space, and they're not talking to each other, they're not in alignment, and it's always like at different times a day, and that's why you're getting sleepless nights, because you are, on the one hand, like, you know, it's whichever part of you gets active and speaks to you, and it's like, but why do we have to stay here? We need to go. And the other one is like, well, why we had to go? This is pretty good, right? And it's always like all these voices. So you can leave your doubt behind at this time, you know? You can trust, and you can, yeah, if you wish, ask for peace, for harmony. To me, earth energy is a lot about that. I have a lot of earth energy in my chart. It is about grounded energy. It's about that, you know, inner peace we're talking about. You immediately imagine somebody in a lotus pose, in a meditation, you know, maybe in a nature setting, because it's like, okay, this is where I'm like most authentic self, and I can be vulnerable, and I can work with my own energy field and actually interact with others on my, you know, highest vibration. Masculines, what are you leaving behind? We have Ten of Cups clarified by Page of Cups. The dreams that never become reality. It's a very interesting concept. Ten of Cups seems like such a great card, and in this deck I call it the fairy tale card. To me it's like this, I know like it's not exactly like it, but to me it's like a Disney castle with swans. I mean, come on. But it's clarified by Page of Cups. So it's always like this doubt between, do I stay in my comfort zone with a little bit of love and affection that I have in my life, or do I go for something big, right? And this could have different scenarios for different people, right? This is, again, a general reading. For some people, it's about staying in safe zone too much and never actually going for the 10 of Cups, even if you have that vision, right? But never actually taking action. Now this fear can be removed. You know, you can ask for that if that's been your challenge. Or for other people, it's never being happy with what you have and always dreaming for more stuff, right? Or as soon as you get to that goal that you set for yourself, you start making new ones, and you're always in that pursuit of greatness. It can happen if you've been raised in a very strict environment that got you to be a perfectionist, and kind of like when, especially if you've been put down personally, you know, it's like, okay, I'm still not good enough. If I don't have that next goal, then I am not good enough. It's kind of like what you have in your life defines you, but it shouldn't. So that's what you can leave behind. What are we freeing space for? Divine Feminine's Justice and 8 of Pentacles with 3 of Pentacles outlined. To me, that's like mission and purpose 100%, where you're creating works of art, where this is all, your authentic expression. And you can find a balanced way to do that, where you don't need to find difficult compromises, like, do I take care of my family or do I pursue my mission and purpose, my business, my brand, right? It doesn't have to be that way, and it shouldn't be. And this is a way for you to find, so on the other side of this cleansing and releasing the old stuff is you finding how you can balance the important things in your life. Masculines, what are you freeing space for? Strength, clarified by Knight of Swords. I already spoke about the strength and the courage. Definitely solar plexus is something to work on. But here, and it's actually interesting because the Knight of Swords in this deck is the battle, and this is creating space. So once you're removing that fear that we had, it's creating space for actually going for what you want, for communicating what is it that you want and taking action, which is very important, right? It's not just like an unreachable goal somewhere up in the sky that you like to have, maybe even on your vision board or something, but you're telling yourself it's never going to happen, right? But this is actually believing that it will happen, and you just need to start taking action. What is the message from Divine Feminines to the masculines at this point? 7 of Wands, 3 of Wands. Feminines know that they need to take care of themselves right now. So it may not seem super affectionate and caring to the outside world and to the masculine, but feminines want to say that they are setting important intention. They are putting important things into motion for their happiness and wellness, and they know that it will benefit the relationship and the connection with the masculine as well. But yeah, right now it's like they're staying in their space and almost like getting a new feel for who they are and how they want their life to be taken forward. Wow, masculines to feminines, 2 of Wands clarified by the Sun. And yeah, in this deck it's interesting because the masculine, like the boy figure, is pulling on the flag. Yeah, so for the masculines are saying, deep down, I know that choosing you and choosing being with you is the best thing in my life that could happen to me, that, that will inform other aspects of happiness in my life, right? So I want to be making that choice, but it's not as easy as it sounds. So right now, masculine is like on the crossroads, where it seems like if I go into my heart space, it seems so easy to make the choice, right, and to go there. But because my 3D life is a lot more complex than that, it's hard to just leave everything behind. And to me, that choice towards you and towards us means leaving quite a lot of stuff behind that I've worked very hard for, where I'm responsible for other people, etc., etc. So this is the point where divine masculines are. One day they'll make that choice. That's what I'm gonna say. Okay, I hope this was useful to you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. And until next time,